But, you know, my take is, if you want to talk about a parenting expert, to me, a parenting expert is someone who raised successful people to adulthood, meaning people who are, you know, good, stable adults who are productive, who can be dependent on by others.
Right, but you might not have access to those.
Why?
I didn't have access to those when I was a child. I didn't have access to people that had raised successful.
Oh, I see. When you were a child.
Yeah, I didn't even look. I know a lot of people today that had terrible parents,
right?
And they had terrible grandparents, and they never had an example of someone who raised good children. They had the occasional child that was exceptional, that made its way out of that fucked up maze,
right?
And usually became hyper successful. But the other siblings oftentimes are a mess, and sometimes the parents want to take credit for the hyper successful sibling. You know, like, oh, I showed you the way. Like, no, you didn't do shit. You know, like that kid figured it out on their own without having anybody as a positive role model or example.
But I think that if they were successful, there were certain good things in their life. Meaning they weren't on the couch.
Right.
They weren't the 54% of Gen Z who doesn't want to live with anyone but mom. These are 18 to 25-year-olds. Sorry.
That's wild.
54% of them are living with parents.
Well, that's that old expression, right? The healthy bird leaves the nest.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There was something healthy. There was some healthy message or example that at least made the kid think, I can. And the kids today are thinking, I can't. I need to be with mom and dad, even at 18 to 25.
Yeah, because it offers you comfort.
Right.
Yeah. But then there's other cultures where people are happy and the family's a very tight unit and people don't leave the house until they're married.
Right. That's not our culture. So in those cultures, I think it's a different situation and it is healthier, meaning they have their own ways of doing things and, you know, they get a job and they don't leave the home until they're married. And that is the way they define growing up. But in this culture, we have always defined growing up is leaving your parents' home, getting some sort of job, supporting yourself in some way, making strong, you know, enduring relationships with others, starting a family.
Right.
We have a vision in this culture, and we are not producing that.
Which one's right? Which culture is correct, though? Is the culture that enforces family and they have this very tight bond and they don't leave until they're establishing their own family, and then that family stays in connection with the other family? Is that the way to do it, or is the way we do it where we cast them out?
So I tend to think that, you know, they have a version of adulthood in their culture. It's just defined differently. And those are people you can rely on. They do become adults in other cultures. Depends on who you're talking about. But in cultures like India, where families, you know, live with, you know, in the same home with extended family. And as soon as you marry, you go and live with the mom and dad. They know how to do that so that the young people who are raising the family are, you know, absolutely dependable, independent adults, right? They're not sitting home playing Xbox while they're living with their parents.
Right.
Right? They're not.
That's the difference.
That's the difference. It's a healthy, it's different from ours, but it is healthy. And you can rely on those people. They are raising children. They are like being good neighbors, right? We got a generation who's sitting at home and doesn't want to show up for work because they think they have mental health issues. I have to attend to my mental health. I can't. Trump was just elected. I need a mental health day.
Yeah. Emotionally fragile.
Yeah. It's a problem, right?
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, it doesn't matter who's president. Get to work.
Yeah. Coddling. Yeah. Boy, what a complicated thing. And it's so complicated if you're a parent, if you're dealing with this medical establishment that's so quick to prescribe drugs, and you're dealing with this world where therapy is so ubiquitous, and you're dealing with this world where people think that the way to handle things is to constantly discuss all these small problems and so that people can be heard. You know, we want people to be heard. I don't know if you've ever seen, there's a hilarious video of this socialist meeting, and they're calling each other comrades, and have you seen this video?
No.
It's a wonderful video because one person says, "Could everyone please stop making as much noise because I'm easily distracted." I forget the term that they use. And then, could you guys please do that? Just recognize that there's others around here, us that are. This is it. Listen to this. This is amazing.
Socialism. Thank you so much.
Quick point of privilege.
quick point of personal privilege. Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade.
Right.
Comrade.
Wow.
Chapter pronoun.
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
It goes on further. That's just a clip of it. But that's what you're dealing with.
Right.
Like, and if you're going to a university and this is a part of the environment, this is the culture that you are existing in, it can't help but have some sort of an effect on you, especially if you're young and impressionable and naive and you don't understand these people are mentally ill. Like that is a mentally crippled person.
Right.
That point of privilege. Good luck. Good luck out there in the world, you fuck.
Right.
Good luck.
But I'll tell you this. All these things, there are things to be negative about or pessimistic about in society. Not this. Because you know what? Honestly, parents have an absolute ability to turn this around. We don't need to let our kids down this way and tell them, you need to silence an entire room because of your sensory discomfort. We're going to focus on your sensory issues and we're going to tell an entire room of people to be quiet for you. No, this thing happened to me that I thought, like, I was on a plane and I was seated behind this family of four. Okay. There were two little girls. And one starts to scream, and I mean scream like it was painful to listen to. And I hear the father tell her, "Honey, what's wrong? What did your sister do?" And she's screaming. Okay, it is so loud. It's so late at night. And okay, well let me just see what I can do. All right, well don't be upset. He never once said to her, "You know there are other people on this plane." And when I ask people from other countries, I talked to the emotions expert who does cross-cultural research. I said, what would they say in other countries about that? And she said to me, they would say that's bananas. They would not believe in Japan that you do not tell your kid, you know there are other people on this plane, not just you. We're part of a society. We have to care about others. The world isn't just you and your feelings. And that's a message parents can absolutely give to kids. They don't have to say, oh, let me attend to your every discomfort. They can say, I know you're feeling a little discomfort. We're in a room with a lot of other people. We need to think about them.
So, but you're dealing with emotionally challenged parents. Parents could relay that message to children and tell them, hey, you're not the only person on this plane and you are ruining this flight, this experience for a lot of people that are trying to sleep and trying to relax. You are causing damage. You're causing a problem. These parents are fucked up too. You're not going to just fix them by having them fix their kid, which is part of the problem, is that there's no real test to see if you're emotionally stable enough to have children. So you just have children.
I don't think those parents are necessarily emotionally unstable. I tend to think they've just got it all wrong. They think the old school parenting is unloving and cruel, and the most gentle parenting will produce the most gentle children. It's not true. But they think if I always ask a child, how are you feeling, and attend to her ever feeling, I'm going to make stronger, happier, kinder kids. No, you're not. You're going to raise a child who thinks she can scream or thinks she can march into a room and silence the entire room based on her preference. They aren't liberated to trust their own instincts and what they have seen work for others.